Yes, this round 5 top fight scenes is for any type of movie, period. And you'll see why, because I have a very unorthodox number 1. So I'm going to go ahead and share the audio clip of Sam and of Aaron's fight scenes. So here is what they had to say. All right, so I would have to let you know, and so for real quick, for anybody who's watching the video didn't hear it, for YouTube purposes, for Sam, he had the Matrix, the Neo Agent Smith fight, the big fight where he fought all of them. Episode 3 end fight scene, which was great. Which is he said we've been looking forward to it since episode 4. Gladiator, Maximus versus Tiger Seagal, I think is what he said. I hadn't seen the movie, so. Bruce Lee versus Chuck Norris, which was a throwback.
I was impressed with that.
And I watched it and I was like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then Endgame, which I was actually a bigger fan of the 3 versus Thanos than the 2 big major ones.
Yeah.
But that's because of the Mjolnir. So, Aaron, for him, the Clone Wars fight in episode 2, Endgame, Infinity War, Fast and Furious 5, The Rock versus Vin Diesel, which was a pretty good fight. And then the Rocky 4 fight, which I would say was pretty good. Okay. And so that was their list. Now let's jump into ours. Mitch, you can start off with your number 5, sir.
Number 5 is I can't remember dude's name, but Creed 2.
Oh,
Michael
yeah.
B. Jordan versus the Russian dude.
So it's like
crazy.
Rocky 4.
Right, exactly. Only the new.
Yeah.
And I think the reason because of that, is because he got so hurt in the first fight. You're almost like expecting him to die in this next one, but
yeah, I'll be honest. That the only bad thing about the Rocky Creed type of movies is they're very predictable.
Yep.
Yeah.
You knew that first fight, he's going to die.
Right.
You knew that, or close to it, and he did close to it. So yeah, Sean, number 5 for you.
Well, this would please my daughter. Avengers, Black Widow's interrogation scene.
Okay,
it's short, but you know when I thought about this list, I was like, I need the stuff that made me go, ooh.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's not long, it's not big, but I mean, you know, first off, she's just all kind of like. You know, she's on the phone with Coulson. This dude's giving me everything. I'm busy. and he's like, what? I'm not. And she's like, hey, come here. Come get this. And then kicks everybody's butt, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, she was never... she was
right.
never in trouble, you know?
And then grabs her heels on the way up.
Yeah, it's just, it's classy. So, anyway, that made my number 5.
My number 5 is actually the same as Sam's. The Matrix Reloaded, Neo versus the Smiths. It's just one of those things where I literally did watch over and over and over again, and it was just so good. And seeing, I mean, there were some scenes where you could see the CGI very clearly, especially with Neo, but just seeing that was just.
But at the time, though,
at the time, it was incredible, and it really showed. It was like seeing, because the first fight, and I would say honorable mention was Neo versus Agent Smith in the first Matrix movie, which to me was great, but this one it was just like, man, really? Like you can do all that? And so that was that for me. But number 4, Mitch?
4 is Phantom Menace, the final fight scene. So Darth Maul versus Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Mm-hmm. So that, I grew up watching. I think that fight scene is the reason why I used to get shocked when like people my dad's age would be like, oh, Phantom Menace was trash. I'm like, I used to watch that movie over and over. Like I had to VHS it over and over and over. And like I love that fight scene so much because that's the first time and only time you see like a double-sided lightsaber. So you're like, this dude is on another level. He's got 2 of these. It's 2-on-1, which is really cool. It's the first one in the series where they're actually like acrobatically fighting because 4, 5, and 6 is just kind of like bare minimum swinging. But one they're like doing flip. You're like, whoa, this is like martial arts. And I think I like the way it ends. Yeah, I love everything. When I was a kid, I used to have a lot of lightsaber toys, and I would like memorize like the choreography and like moves and like act it out and stuff. Oh man, yeah, that's one of my favorites.
CHH Master Jedi. Sean, number 4.
Well, my number 4 is also a Star Wars, but mine comes from episode 2. And that's when we get Yoda versus Dooku. I mean, this is the first time that we see Yoda do something.
Right.
And, so, we had some of the acrobatic stuff from the first movie. But again, it was that jaw dropping. I left episode 2, and I was still in shock. I was just like, dude, Yoda, what? What?
The funny thing is,
I saw somebody I knew in the lobby, and I was just like, dude, Yoda. And he was just like, what?
When I was telling Sean, my problem with episode 2 was like the field scene, the love field.
I know you hate that scene.
Like, I hate that scene, but I'll be honest, the rest of the movie's good.
Yeah.
And that the clone fight was really good, and the Yoda fight was really good. And so the movie was actually pretty good. And so my number 4 is the Civil War end fight, the triple threat fight with Cap, Bucky, and Iron Man. It's not the big fight. I love the big fight, and I did watch that fight over and over and over again. But I would have to say that fight, especially when you saw Bucky and Cap on the side and Iron Man in the middle, like, to me that was just, it was so good. I thought it was choreographed great. The emotion that went into that particular scene rather than the other big scene. I mean, because you get to see, Black Panther really do a lot more than Spider-Man for the first time. So it was good. It had a lot of comedy. But just for a straight-up fight, I enjoyed that end scene in Civil War more.
See, I totally get you where you're, like, coming from with the emotional part of it. But I think that's all that scene had going for it. I felt like the fighting in it was, like, just... It felt like they were dancing. It was good.
And then seeing Bucky, like, pinning him against a wall and ripping that was classic, man.
I don't know. There was nothing in it that made me go, oh, dude, I didn't see that coming.
That's my number 4.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
That's my number 4.
That's fine.
All right, Mitch, you're number 3, sir.
3 is the end game, and then it's the 3 that we were talking about a second ago.
Yes.
Thor, Cap, and Thanos, and that is crazy. Oh yeah. That's crazy to me. Obviously seeing Cap being able to, and pretty much everything about this. I actually wanted like that to last even longer. I was like, it's cool when everyone comes in, but when it's like just these guys versus Thanos, it was crazy to me.
It's more self-contained.
Yeah, exactly. You can kind of see everything because big fight scenes are like that, where you're like, okay, this is happening and this is happening, but you actually like.
He's making my argument. This is why I hate these movies. I hate those movies because there's too much.
Seeing Cap go one-on-one with Thanos, because in Infinity War, you see the potential, right?
Right, yeah.
But then you see in Endgame when he's got, and he's
got him on the ropes. He's like, oh, he can actually, like, he has like a melee where he hits him like 3-4 times in a row. And you're like, okay, so he actually can stand a chance because, in Infinity War, everyone gets maybe like one hit and then it's like, okay, there's no hope.
Yeah, that was the issue. That and just seeing, he didn't have the stone, so it was just straight Thanos.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, in general, in the comics, Thanos could kill everybody really easy, even without the stones.
Yeah.
He's completely overpowered in the comics. So the movies, they dumbed his powers down a lot, even for the film. But I love that fight scene. And yeah, man, so Sean, number 3, sir.